That's something that I think is really an interesting trend, or at least I see it as a trend, is this lab work.
Yep.
We're seeing more and more prevalent in these apps. Are you seeing
Yeah.
that? You mentioned Azure. Are you seeing that in AWS as well?
Yes. It's not as prevalent in AWS yet, but like I said, I've been really impressed with the investment and the forethought that AWS has put into their certifications. Microsoft has had 25 years or more of planning for this, right? AWS has had 7, I think. So they're catching up, and they're catching up at light speed compared to where Microsoft is today. I don't believe it's there. In fact, it wasn't there in the latest one that I took, but I'm sure it's coming, because it would be almost negligent of AWS to not have that practical, real world in a portal type experience. Now, one of the things that it's done is it's caused delays in finding out if you actually passed or not in the Azure world. So, like, I'll take an exam. I took an exam. I took the practical exam for my Azure 301, Azure 300, which was there was a lot of labs in it. I finished the exam and it said, "We've got to evaluate your labs and we'll tell you when you're done." I found out the next day, so I didn't know if I'd passed for a whole day. And because part of the challenge with it is again, I mentioned you have to go from step 1 to step 5, but there's 10 different ways that you can get to step 5. So they just care about evaluating against step 5. They don't care how you got there. But they need to make sure that everything kind of lines up. So you'll find that a lot of cases that becomes a bit of a delay that you're not really used to if you've taken certification exams in the past. I think it's got to be a new standard that says, yeah, I know the platform. It's not just about picking the right multiple choice option or or fill in the blank option or rearrange these in the right order that you deploy option. You have to be able to demonstrate in the portal this, or in whatever the management console might be, this is where I would go to do this, and these are the settings, and this is what it would look like. And oh, by the way, here's either the YAML or the XML or the JSON that says this is what it looks like.
So I know we only booked an hour for this, so if we have to drop.
I'm good. I have another half hour.
So you mentioned quite a few times here now that these are timed exams. How do you prevent yourself from feeling like you got to beat the clock? Like you got to, because sometimes that will force somebody to make the wrong decision or choice.
For me, it's math. I look and I see how much time I have, and then I look at how many questions there are, and I divide the two of them and say, you get 1.5 minutes a question or 2 minutes a question. And for me, it's all about banking that time at the end. It's not about doing it fast. It's not about doing it slow. It's not about doing it slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. For me, I'm going to look at the question, and here's question 14. Question 14, and I'll look at the clock, and I'm 1.5 minutes ahead of schedule. And I literally break things out in 2-minute schedule, kind of. And it's roughly the math that it works out to be, is you should be able to answer a question that they're giving you in 2 minutes. In the AWS world, it's 65 questions. It's 130 minutes. In the Microsoft world, depending on how long it is, it might be 45 questions in 90 minutes. It kind of mixes up and depends on what exam you're taking. But in every case, I evaluate how many questions, how long do I take, and I put at the top of one of my sheets that I write down, I'll put how many minutes per question I can do. Because at any given point in time, I can look and see if I'm on question 14, there should be 28 minutes gone from that. And if I'm ahead of that, great. If I'm behind that, okay, now I need to pay attention to not take so much time, trying to get everything right, but instead figure out what's not the right answer. Start answering that question.
Thank you for watching Stratum's Cloud Interrupted. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, and share this video.